Day one of the celebrity trial gripping much of the nation. Sean Diddy Combs, once one of entertainment's most powerful moguls, accused of crimes so heinous, he faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars.
It's finally here. Welcome to week one of the Diddy trial. For the past 18 months, the world has watched music mogul Sean Diddy Combs fall from billionaire icon to a federally indicted inmate facing serious criminal allegations. Despite his legal team's efforts to stall the proceedings, Diddy is now in court, facing a jury of his peers. Things are moving fast, so we're breaking down everything you missed during the dramatic first week of this landmark federal trial. Why are potential jurors being questioned about celebrities like Michael B. Jordan and Kanye West? Why is a judge already furious about certain individuals who slipped into the jury pool? There's also a brewing controversy involving one of Diddy's star defense attorneys. Allegations suggest he may have improperly influenced jury selection even before the trial began. We brought in seasoned criminal defense attorney Alfred Spielman to give U.S. expert insight into what's happening inside the Manhattan courtroom. From Diddy's courtroom wardrobe choices to the calculated strategy behind jury selection, Spielman breaks down the legal tactics in play, and perhaps most shocking of all, there's breaking news that one of Diddy's key accusers may withdraw from testifying. Could this be the turning point as the trial unfolds? We'll continue to track every twist and turn. Is Diddy's carefully constructed defense already starting to unravel? Stay tuned. This trial is just getting started.
The Diddy trial is upon us. What was announced today in court is there is a new alleged victim, but it's not necessarily what you think.
Diddy's federal trial officially began on Monday, May 5th, with the jury selection process kicking off in full force. More than 36 New Yorkers were questioned about their knowledge of Sean Diddy Combs and the high-profile sex trafficking case he's now facing. To recap, Diddy is looking at a potential life sentence if convicted, stemming from allegations that he operated a large-scale criminal conspiracy. Just last week, he revealed that he had turned down a plea deal from federal prosecutors, an offer that could have reduced his potential prison time. Some are calling that decision risky, but Diddy appears fully committed to fighting the charges to the very end, maintaining his not guilty plea. He's assembled a powerhouse legal team for his defense, but tensions are already running high in the courtroom. During proceedings, Diddy reportedly appeared nervous, even asking the judge for a bathroom break. Proof that the pressure is mounting. The jury selection process itself has proven to be intense. Diddy's attorneys are working to seat jurors who might be sympathetic to their client, while prosecutors are pushing for individuals less likely to give him the benefit of the doubt. Overseeing this high-stakes process is Judge Arun Smarinian, who's tasked with ensuring the final jury is truly impartial. Ultimately, the makeup of this jury could determine Diddy's fate.
You don't ever really pick a jury. The way it works is that you eliminate people as potential jurors until everyone who's left isn't eliminated. The way it works is there's a systematic elimination and replacement process of jurors. First, the judge is going to ask some general questions like hardships. Is there anybody here who's a caretaker to somebody? Do you own your own business and you'll lose it if you have to be here? Did you just buy a non-refundable ticket for a cruise tomorrow that you're gonna lose,
The Diddy trial is expected to last around 8 weeks, a serious time commitment, but still far shorter than the infamous O.J. Simpson trial of 1994, which dragged on for a staggering 8 months. While the jury in Diddy's case will remain anonymous, they will not be sequestered. Sequestering involves isolating jurors from the outside world to prevent them from being influenced by media or public opinion. It's an intense process. Understandably, not many people would volunteer for that. One of the more controversial elements of the jury selection process is the use of a written questionnaire by Diddy's legal team. This method is designed to help screen the jury pool more discreetly. Prosecutors push back, arguing that potential jurors should be questioned face-to-face in court. But Judge Arun Smarinian ultimately sided with Diddy's team. The strategy behind the questionnaire is simple. It gives potential jurors a chance to answer sensitive questions more honestly, without the pressure of speaking in public.
Ask sensitive questions like, were you ever a victim of something that you may not want to discuss in open court? So it is common to use a questionnaire, and it's a technique that's used to elicit a more honest response from jurors who aren't afraid of speaking in public and maybe being embarrassed about their past, and also who have a strong opinion about something that they may not want to express in front of an audience of people.
Here's a rewritten version of your text in approximately 111 words with improved clarity and flow. One of the most surprising details from the first day of Diddy's trial was a jury pool being handed a list of over 100 celebrity names. Potential jurors were asked if they recognized or had any connection to anyone on the list, which included stars like Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers from the Austin Powers movies, and Kanye West. While Kanye has been publicly linked to Diddy in the past, it's important to clarify that none of the celebrities listed are involved or implicated in Diddy's current federal case. So why bring them up? The goal is to identify any jurors who might be biased due to celebrity associations or media influence.
What effect will it have on the trial, if any? Clearly, it's going to have an effect, again, on potential jurors. If they have no strong feelings or maybe don't even know who Diddy is, but man, there's no way that Jay-Z could be involved, and if it seems like that's happening, then I don't know if I can be fair and impartial juror. Or if Michael B. Jordan comes in and says, absolutely, I didn't do anything wrong and neither did Diddy. This is Adonis Creed. This is like my favorite actor. I can't go against him.
Michael B. Jordan showing up at the Diddy trial would be wild. But let's be real, that's almost certainly not happening. Still, his name was one of over 100 on the list of celebrities given to the jury pool on the first day of the trial. Another name? Cassie Ventura, Diddy's longtime partner who, in November 2023, filed a shocking lawsuit accusing him of abuse. That case was a major catalyst for everything now unfolding in court. While Diddy's legal team is focused on the jury questionnaire, they're also paying close attention to how their billionaire client presents himself to the jury. Diddy is best known as a hip-hop mogul, an icon who once threw lavish, star-studded white parties. But in court, he's trying to project a very different image, more like a college professor than a flashy music executive. When he appeared in courtroom this past Monday, it was the first time in months that he wasn't wearing a prison-issued jumpsuit. Since his arrest in September, Diddy had only been seen in a tan jail uniform. But after a formal request, the judge allowed him to wear civilian clothes. Under very strict conditions, he's limited to 5 button-down shirts, 5 pairs of pants, 5 sweaters, 5 pairs of socks, and just 2 pairs of shoes. With the laces removed, a standard security measure to prevent potential self-harm. When Diddy walked into court, he looked nothing like the flashy bad boy era mogul, just another defendant trying to influence a jury through image and presentation.
And some people were surprised, especially because he's always been known as a pretty hip and fashion-forward dresser, that he was a bit toned down. He had basically a sweater with an Oxford shirt under it and what looked like maybe Dockers-style slacks. He looked kind of like he was going to go out for a day of golf or something.
Honestly, it's probably the smartest move he could make. Let's not forget, this is the same Diddy who once posted videos of himself dressed as Batman. So seeing his style toned down this much is definitely a shift. But it's not random. This more subdued version of Diddy is actually a calculated part of his high-powered legal team strategy. Present him as relatable, serious, and grounded in hopes of winning over the jury.
Did Sean Combs wear a sweater or something like that and not a very expensive, nice tailored suit? The answer to that is that he had a good lawyer. Because I used to tell my clients, I want you to wear something nice, like you're going to, church or temple or synagogue, or something like you're going to meet your significant other's parents for the first time, but I don't want you to look better than your lawyer. And that wasn't an ego thing for me, because I look pretty good. You don't want to look too slick. You don't want to look like a rich guy that lawyered up and you're so smart and you're so slick and cool that you're gonna get out of this one. You want to look like that same guy that's in seat number 4 who only has one suit that he wears to funerals and weddings.
Diddy's defense team is clearly leaving nothing to chance. They're doing everything they can style him as relatable and low-key, basically the opposite of the flashy, larger-than-life persona he's known for. And while Diddy may be showing up to court looking like he has zero drip, don't be fooled, he's spending serious cash behind the scenes. Former federal prosecutor Yama Romani estimates that Diddy could be shelling out as much as $$100,000 a day on his defense. That eye-popping figure includes elite attorneys, jury consultants, expert witnesses, and other high-level resources. By the time this trial wraps, Diddy is projected to spend close to $10 million on his legal battle. But despite all that money and legal firepower, Judge Arun Smarinian has been far from impressed, especially when it comes to how both legal teams have handled jury selection. Before the jury was even brought in, the court held a private conference between the judge and attorneys from both sides. By day 3 of the trial, Judge Marinian was openly frustrated, criticizing both the prosecution and the defense for failing to properly vet potential jurors. Things came to a head when juror number 317 took the stand for questioning, and the judge immediately burst out laughing. Turns out, he personally knew the juror, who was a lawyer Marinian had previously worked with. That wasn't the only awkward moment. Another potential juror casually mentioned that he works at MDC Brooklyn, the same federal detention center where Diddy is currently being held. That's a massive red flag. Given his job, it's very possible he could have had direct contact with Diddy in recent months, presenting a clear conflict of interest. Judge Marinian didn't hold back, scolding both legal teams for not doing a more thorough job filtering out obviously problematic candidates. As the jury selection process continued, both sides aggressively fought over who should make the cut and who should be dismissed. One potential juror, a woman who disclosed she had survived an attempted rape, said she believed she could still remain unbiased. But when her questionnaire revealed a comment stating, P. Diddy has a lot of money at his discretion, possibly buy his way out of jail, she was immediately removed from consideration. No surprise there. Another juror was dismissed after admitting he had clicked on a USA Today News link about the trial, which disqualified him due to potential exposure to prejudicial information. One woman said she was unsure if she could ever find someone guilty because of her Catholic upbringing. She also noted that her stomach issues might require frequent bathroom breaks. Judge Marinian ultimately excused her, saying that the intensity and sensitive nature of the case meant the court needed to avoid unnecessary delays. Two other potential jurors stood out as particularly controversial. One was a 38-year-old man who admitted to having multiple altercations with police in the past. He didn't go into detail, but the prosecution pushed to strike him, arguing that his experiences with law enforcement would make him biased and potentially anti-prosecution. Diddy's defense team disagreed, arguing that those same experiences might make him more sympathetic to their client. The judge has yet to rule definitively on that one. Then there was a commercial pilot for American Airlines who said he was uncomfortable with what he described as Diddy's LA lifestyle. He admitted that the music, culture, and rumors surrounding Diddy's private life clashed with his own values. "You can't unring that bell," he said. "I can't unhear something I've already heard." That statement cut to the core of a major issue in Diddy's defense: public perception. A large part of Diddy's legal strategy hinges on convincing the jury that he was a consensual swinger, not an Essex trafficker, as the prosecution alleges. His lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has emphasized over and over that consent is the heart of their argument. If a juror is already uncomfortable with Diddy's rumored lifestyle, convincing them of that narrative becomes a serious uphill battle. Unsurprisingly, Diddy's lawyers objected to the pilot remaining in the pool, arguing that his opinions made him biased. But Judge Marinian rejected their concerns, saying that Diddy is such a high-profile public figure that it's unrealistic to expect jurors to have no prior knowledge or opinions about him. Interestingly, Judge Marinian didn't just go after jurors. He also had harsh words for one of Diddy's own lawyers. Though the judge didn't name names publicly, he criticized the attorney's conduct during the selection process and warned that any more missteps would not be tolerated. The implication was clear. Both sides need to clean up their act and fast. In short, this trial is already off to a chaotic and dramatic start, and the jury isn't even finalized yet. With high stakes, massive egos, and millions of dollars in play, expect more fireworks as things move forward.
Mark Garagos, he was kind of like smiling and thought he was just preening, but as it turns out, the government is saying that he's advising them on jury selection, and that for that reason, although he hasn't filed a notice of appearance, he was not among the two that were being added. There's a Nicole that's being added, and there was Xavier Donaldson added. But Mark Garagos is not on the team, but is advising them. Therefore, the U.S. Attorney's Office says they want him admonished about public statements, including on podcasts.
On May 7th, 2025, news broke that Judge Marinian had sharply criticized Mark Greos, a celebrity criminal defense consultant working with Diddy's legal team. Greos sparked controversy after appearing on a podcast where he openly discussed the case and made inflammatory remarks about the prosecution, saying, "My understanding is you got a six-pack of white women." That comment drew immediate backlash. Although Greos isn't officially listed as Diddy's attorney, he's become a key figure in the defense strategy and brings experience from defending high-profile clients like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, and the Menendez brothers. Adding to the drama, Greos' daughter, Terry Greos, is officially part of Diddy's legal team. Some outlets have dubbed her a Nepo baby lawyer, but she's been a vocal advocate for Diddy, even publicly criticizing the court's decision to deny him bail.
We knew that he was under investigation for racketeering and sex trafficking, And he stayed put. He committed not to fly out of the country. He stayed within the country. And they didn't ask that of him. That was a commitment he made.
On May 7th, 2025, Judge Marinian delivered a sharp rebuke to celebrity criminal defense consultant Mark Geragos, who is working closely with Diddy's legal team. The controversy erupted after Geragos made inflammatory comments on a podcast, referencing the prosecution by saying, "My understanding is you got a six-pack of white women." His remarks immediately drew criticism and led to accusations that he was attempting to improperly influence the jury selection process. Although Geragos is not officially one of Diddy's attorneys, he's been an active consultant on the case and has a long history of representing high-profile clients, including Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, and the Menendez brothers. His daughter, Terry Geragos, is officially part of Diddy's legal team. While some media outlets have labeled her a Nepo baby lawyer, she has been outspoken in defending Diddy, including criticizing the court's decision to deny him bail. Judge Marinian did not mince words when addressing Geragos in court. "Look, you understand we're in the process of picking a jury close to trial," the judge said. When you say things on a podcast like 6 women, all white, that's not something any officer of court or member of the bar should be saying. Geragos defended his comments, stating that his client feels unfairly targeted, particularly as a black man facing federal prosecution. "It's an observation," he said, but the judge wasn't having it. "I think this is ridiculous," Marinian responded. Referring to the prosecution as a six-pack of white women is outrageous. This would not be tolerated in any court, from any lawyer, anywhere in the country. The judge warned Geragos that he would be closely monitoring his future public appearances. He also accused Geragos of violating Local Rule 23, which prohibits attorneys from making public statements that could interfere with a fair trial. Marinian made it clear he believes Diddy's legal team might be using media commentary to sway public opinion, and potentially the jury pool. And the judge might have good reason to be concerned. Just 5 days into the trial, the case is already hitting major roadblocks. Prosecutors were forced to admit they've lost contact with one of their key witnesses, referred to an indictment as Victim 3. This witness is expected to testify that Diddy coerced and exploited her sexually, making her testimony crucial to the government's case. Diddy's lawyers quickly pounced on the development, asking Judge Marinian to compel the prosecution to reveal their plan for securing her appearance. This time, the judge sided with the defense. There's also growing uncertainty about whether certain witnesses who signed non-disclosure agreements with Diddy will even be allowed to testify.
NDAs don't cover criminal court cases because witnesses are subpoenaed. And if you've ever had a subpoena and read it, it's kind of almost scary because it says that you are commanded to come to court. Not, come on down, we're asking, we're requesting your presence, you're invited. You are commanded to come to court.
Despite the prosecution's efforts, they've admitted they're not even sure Victim 3, a key witness, will respond to subpoena. For this to happen so early in the trial raises serious questions about how the government is handling the case. It's the kind of misstep that could end up working heavily in Diddy's favor and possibly help him avoid a conviction. Even Judge Marinian acknowledged the growing risks. On Friday, May 9th, he voiced concerns about continuing jury selection just before the weekend. He warned that potential jurors might get cold feet and reconsider their participation after having a couple of days to reflect on the high-profile and emotionally charged nature of the case. And this is only the end of week 1, with a key witness potentially missing and the judge openly worried about securing a stable, impartial jury. Cracks are already beginning to show in the prosecution's case. Diddy and his legal team might be feeling more confident than ever. This case is far from over, but it's already off to a chaotic and unpredictable start. Stay locked in. We're tracking every development in Diddy's federal trial and will continue bringing you the latest updates as they unfold.